Hello and welcome to Bounding into Comics. My name is John Trent. I'm the founder and editor-in-chief at Bounding into Comics. And today I got a story about Star Wars' newest Doctor Aphra preview that claims eternal life can be achieved through the wearing of 2 rings. So, a new preview for Marvel Comics' upcoming Doctor Aphra #5 book claims there are 2 rings that worn together can grant an individual eternal life. So on the official StarWars.com website, their blog post reads, "Eternal life, incredible wealth, unlimited power, 2 rings of legend are said to bring the wearer all this and more." In StarWars.com's exclusive preview of Marvel's Doctor Aphra #5, set after the events of Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, Aphra and her friends reunite with wealthy tycoon Ronin Tej in the glittering city of Canto Bight for a lesson in family history and the twin rings of Vaale. So, just to give you a little bit of a background, this new Doctor Aphra series kind of just started a couple months ago. It is written by Alyssa Wong, who previously accused Marvel Comics editor-in-chief C.B. Cebulski of being a racist before landing a job at the company. She's joined by artist Marika Cresta. While the blog post on StarWars.com says the series takes place after the events of The Empire Strikes Back, it's kind of unclear. It could be taking place during the events of The Empire Strikes Back, because there is a scene in the first issue that specifically takes place after the Battle of Hoth. And that's kind of where we jump into the story. So after stealing a shipment of rebel contraband from Imperial troopers on Hoth, Aphra is approached by a college student named Detta Yao about a pair of mythological artifacts called the Rings of Vaale. Yao claims that the, quote, rings grant their wearer eternal life and boundless fortune when they're worn together, end quote. However, she also notes that they are cursed, but Aphra isn't worried about the curse, dismissing it as superstition created to prevent people from seeking the rings. So she quickly accepts the deal to acquire the rings and heads to the ruins of Kolkur in the Outer Rim to find Dr. Eustacia Oka, a supposed expert on the rings. However, after tracking down Oka, Aphra discovers that another party is also interested in the rings, Ronin Tej, and Tej has an obsession of destroying rare artifacts after he's the last one to touch them. He explains, quote, "The only thing that makes my blood sing more than owning something precious is being the last person to touch it," end quote. So after recruiting Oka, she leads Aphra and her team, that includes Black Chrysanthemum, Yao, and a sniper named Just Lucky, to the planet of Dianth in the Malataurus system. There they discover the lost city of Vaale. There wasn't a lot of effort. They just kind of knew where to go. It's very odd. Pretty poor writing, honestly. While exploring the city and attempting to find the location of the 2 rings, it's revealed the rings actually have their own titles, the Ring of Fortune and the Ring of Immortality. While they would discover the Ring of Fortune, the Ring of Immortality was missing. It was not located in its case in the inner sanctum of the Architect's Workshop in Vaale, where it was supposed to be according to ancient texts obtained by Yao. However, a game of double crossing occurs. One of Aphra's party, Lucky, is revealed to be an agent of Tej and comes away with the Ring of Fortune and promptly sets off to deliver it to his benefactor. Lucky also leaves Aphra and her party to fend for themselves. While Aphra and Oka try to find a way out of the catacombs underneath the city, they discover that the supposed curse Yao originally warned about is actually the city that's been built out of bone matter, and it could potentially drive them crazy. So Oka says I had my droid run tests on the bone matter comprising the city, and it's alive, and it's singing, emitting frequencies that target our brainwaves, and it can drive them crazy, the singing of the bone matter. However, while it appears it's the city driving the individuals mad, Lucky is still hearing a sound emitting from the Ring of Fortune despite being away from the city. So this guy was hearing a ringing sound in his head as they were exploring the city as well, before they even found the ring, and he's still hearing it. And if you look at this panel here, it definitely looks like the sound is coming from the ring. So while Lucky is taking the ring to Tej, Aphra and her team eventually escape the catacombs, and just as soon as they do, Tej's military forces destroy the entire city of Vaale, as well as Aphra's starship, despite the Ring of Immortality missing. Fortunately for Aphra, she discovers a High Republic starship that just so happened to be abandoned on the planet and in full working order. She decides to bait Tage and gets her and the rest of her team captured. So now we've got you caught up, so let's kind of talk about this new preview. In this new preview from Star Wars, it's revealed Tage already had the Ring of Immortality and has been wearing it since the beginning of the series. He even reveals that the ring has been in his family's possession for numerous generations after they acquired it from an infamous space pirate. And once he found out that the ring was actually the Ring of Immortality, it made him want to not only obtain the Ring of Fortune, but also to destroy them and erase all knowledge of them from the galaxy. Which means he would be killing Oka and Aphra and all of her team. And interestingly enough, I would assume Lucky and all the people that were working with him as well. However, in order to stop him from destroying the rings, Aphra claims that the stories and legends surrounding the rings, that they actually do grant eternal life, incredible fortune, and limitless power are true. Aphra even explains to demonstrate the rings' abilities and power. So the preview ends there, but the implication is that these rings do indeed hold this power when worn together. Now, given this is comics, it's quite possible there's a twist, and the rings are indeed cursed, and their supposed gift of eternal life could be something twisted like eternal life through zombification, or being kept alive in stasis, unable to actually act. If it is something like stasis, it's actually been done before. The Sith Lord Exar Kun ritually sacrifices thousands of Masasi lives in order to, quote, shed the chains of his mortal body and run rampant throughout the cosmos, basically giving him immortality. However, the ritual that he performs doesn't actually allow him to gain immortality and shed his mortal flesh. Instead, his spirit is trapped in a temple on Yavin 4. So I could see a twist like that coming, but they've been pretty clear that they've been debunking that these twists throughout the series already. So if there is some kind, so we've seen some kind of like zombified people that have been driven mad by the bone in the city. So we already kind of that's kind of seems to be out of the question. So it'll be really interesting to see if they do some kind of twist, given the fact that they're already kind of trying to say that can't happen. And it'll be interesting to see what Aphra has in mind for the demonstration. I'm sure it's some kind of trick against Tage or something of the other. So I do think that is true, that it'll be a trick. But if it isn't a trick, and the rings do grant eternal life, it's just another slap in the face to Star Wars fans who appreciate the rise, the fall, and redemption of Anakin Skywalker. So just as a refresher, Skywalker falls to the dark side after Darth Sidious tempts him with not only the keys to immortality, but the ability to keep others alive, specifically his wife, Padme. And if you have this ability to heal people or have them have eternal life, and it's kind of known knowledge out there in the galaxy, it's just a little hard to imagine that Vader wouldn't have been pursuing that Sidious wouldn't be pursuing it, especially if it's an actual, like, this Doctor Aphra who was at least at one point recognized as a prolific archaeologist before being shunned, that they wouldn't have pursued that to find out that already. So it's just really poor storytelling. It's really poor continuity, and it's kind of what we've come to expect with Star Wars, if that actually does end up being true. We'll find out when the new issue of Doctor Aphra arrives on October 28th. In the meantime, what do you make of the introduction of these rings? Do you think they will actually grant eternal life, or do you think we'll see some kind of twist? Let me know in the comments below. My name is John Trent, and you've been watching Bounding into Comics. We'll see you with another video on Monday.